Yes, I'll have my phone on so that we can take corrections from the audience if you need to.
Oh, I gotcha.
Hey, everybody, welcome. My name is Daniel Garza, and this is Put Together Conversations. I'd like to start as usual thanking my producer, Mr. Kevin Moyers, for all his help and support. Thank you, sir. Also, a big hello to my manager, Mr. Jose Reyes at H Bridge Management, for also all of his assistance. We're going to start while you guys get situated and my guest, Fran Jessee, gets situated. We're going to share this on some of the other pages so you guys can check it out. Today, we're going to have a really cool conversation about spices, uh, about feeling better about yourself, and we're going to hear Fran's story. So I'm going to give y'all a second to get situated while I share this on our respective pages. Give me 1 second, and there we go. So, hi, folks. So, I'm Daniel Garza, and this is Put Together Conversations. And I want to thank you all for joining us on this new season of Put Together Conversations. As you can see, we've taken it from the podcast setting into the airways, and it'll still be airing on Abnormal Entertainment. But also, you can check this out on the YouTube page later on, or you can come back here and check it out on the Put Together podcast page. If you are interested in being a guest on our show, please feel free to contact me or my manager, Jose Reyes. All the information will be in the comment section, and we'll invite you over to the show. I want to go ahead and say hi to my guest today, Miss Fran Jessee. Hi, Fran. How are you doing?
Hi, Daniel. I'm doing great. Absolutely.
Awesome. Now, you're up north, correct?
I'm in Riverside County.
Yes. How, just for the people I know that are watching the news, and how is the smoke over where you are? How's the fires going?
Well, I'm actually at Hemet. So Hemet is not that close to the fires. It smells out there, but it's a little cloudier than normal, but it's not like it's over overbearing here like it is in other parts of the city. I'm I'm listening to them, but I'm not affected by the well, the air quality is supposed to be bad everywhere. So
Well, for
it's
everybody who's watching on that side, please take care of yourselves. Know that we're thinking about you. And Fran, if there's
oh,
anything
well,
gets hectic, let me know.
no, I mean I have people that on Facebook that have been marking themselves safe and all the houses that have been lost and it really does has been breaking my heart because there's so much going on up and down the whole coast that I try to just keep myself working, just keep something going. It's
Absolutely.
pretty it's devastating for too many people right now.
Absolutely. And for all our friends up in Washington State and Oregon, we send our best wishes. We know things are happening up there too. So
Absolutely.
please stay safe and know that we're thinking about you guys.
Everybody touched by
Um,
this fire, losing their houses, 4,000, the last I checked was over 4,000 homes lost, 20 some lives. It's like, okay, yeah, I don't,
all right. Well, let's try and bring some entertainment to the folks that are watching us. And remember, folks, if you're at home watching right now on your phone, questions are accepted. Go to the comment section, open up the video, and send in your comments or questions. We'll be happy to answer them. So I
mhm.
want to start and telling folks, like, as usual, telling folks how I meet my guests. Fran Jessee, I met her on a mastermind group. So I want to send a big hello to Sue Brook, who is how I got connected with her. And for those of you that were watching the show with Susan a couple of weeks ago, she's also one of the mastermind people that I met. So, but Fred and I met, and she kept talking about these spices. We were going to talk about it a little later, and I thought she's just so cool. Now, not because she's on the show, but she's really one of the coolest people I've ever met. She's done a whole lot in her life. She has this really cool product that I will disclaimer. I've tried it, so I have used it. So, but we're going to talk about that also. I feel like we're going to talk about it a lot. So instead of me keep talking, Fran, how are you doing?
Actually, I'm doing great. With the changes and everything that's been happening in the last several months, I've had to redirect everything like so many other people. So it's very challenging, but it's so mentally boosting. And I find that I am in a whole new community in my life. whole new community. And yesterday I had some opportunities come through that I said, oh no, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I can't do this. And it's too many. I'm going to have to narrow it down. And then when the time came to make that decision with them, I went, okay, I can't not do it. It's like being a part of a community is so important to me, and I will work it all out.
There you
just,
go. Yeah.
just, yeah.
Uh,
It's like,
well, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, there's just a lot of new opportunities in our world today. And I understand, I mean, I'm into internet marketing and entrepreneurial, been an entrepreneur all my life. So this is my lifeblood is ideas. And so with everybody changing now from jobs into jobs to wanting to be an entrepreneur or starting their own business, they're having struggles. I mean, I would say that coaches are in a good place today because all the people that are on these Zoom meetings and like neighborhood projects and things like that, they're all looking to build their little businesses into bigger businesses and learn how to do all this. And I'm in a great position because not that I have been totally successful in every area, because I'm an entrepreneur and it's like, no, that doesn't work like that, so it kind of works where some do and some don't, and you deal with what doesn't work, but you learn every lesson all the way through. But I had, so that's what's totally new today in the world for all these new people coming on board. So I understand how it is to be a beginner, so to speak. So.
So, well, with that, first of all, before I ask you the first question of the show, Sherry Gregory Pedrilli, hi, a big hello. Sherry is on the line. She's watching
Hey,
us right now.
Jerry.
So
Hi.
she said, hello, beautiful lady. And I said, thank you. And so,
See, Sherry's one of my teammates, along with Sue Bonzel, Susan Shepard. I mean, there's a whole group of us, Daniel, and then there's Paul, and there's about 10 or 15 other people that we have all gotten into this little group, and it's growing. So I'll talk a little bit about that ongoing. Sue Mastermind with Sue, which is somebody come join us, and I'll get into that if you want me to.
We'll have to have Sue on the show. So for anybody, you're going to hear us talk about the mastermind. If you want information on that, please get in touch with me and I will give you the information after the show. So first question of the show, Fran Jessee, tell us how you put it together.
How I put my spice blend together. Why don't you show well, I'm going to show you I'm going to show you what the packages look like. Daniel has them too. He basically tried them. Is that clear enough? One of them is called Smoothie Spices, and the other is called POW. Smoothie Spices has 34 spices blended for inflammation, detoxing, brain food, and digestion. POW has 54 spices, and I've taken those 34 spices, added to them for other benefits, such as your skin, inside and out, blood circulation, diabetes, and there's 5 or 6 other health benefits. The way spices work, they're a natural vitamin and mineral. They're not a chemical, so they're not put together with a formula. They come from plants. And when you use them in your food, they are not like a vitamin that's a pill that is directed totally towards one area of your body. The spices know exactly where to go. Every spice has, I don't know, 5 to 10, 15 benefits each spice. So if you multiply 34 spices like 5 times, you've got a couple hundred benefits.
Wow.
In one blend. So my reason and how this started was about 2014. I'm 76 years old, okay, right now. And I was 70 years old at the time. And I was always concerned about not wanting to get sick. I don't mind getting old. That's part of the game, but I don't want to get sick. And so I was trying to always take care of myself as well as I could. And I like to do a lot of stuff, and I'm not perfect. And I love Mexican food, and I'm not thin and beautiful and all that stuff. So, but I know that eating certain foods and everything will enhance your looks and your health. And I want to keep my mind strong and everything else. So I was I was researching spices, and I ran across anti-inflammation spices, and I thought, well, that's interesting. So I went in and I looked, and I said, there's about 12 of them. And I thought, well, great. Okay. I was into using a lot of spice instead of a lot of no chemicals or no processed foods anyway. And I bought them all in about a quarter a pound each, and I blended them in this bowl, and I had this whole big bowl of spices, and I said, I can't use all these. So I gave some to my friends, and a couple of them said, I love these. Give me some more. And of course, my entrepreneurial brain went, nobody else is doing this. It's like nobody's blending them for health benefits. Sure, you're using the individual spices like turmeric and cinnamon and for individual things, thinking that, oh, that's helping me. But I'm kind of like more is better. So so I blended them together, and the next thing I knew, I was off and running with. I did a detox blend. I did a digestion blend, a brain function blend. What was my other one? Common cold for
Oh, wow.
congestion. Were you
No,
gonna
I
ask?
said, oh wow, yeah, that sounds cool.
Okay, so, and I put them in these little jars, the little spice jars. I do trade shows, and people would walk over and say, oh, I love these, but what do I do with them? And then they say, well, I love these. How do I, what do I use them for? So I'd have to go through this whole thing to educate them. And if they didn't need one of them, they'd buy the little bottle, and then they would only use a little bit. They'd sprinkle it on their salads once a week. Well, that's not going to get you what you need from these spice blends.
Okay.
So then after I went through that learning process, I decided to just put them all together, because the easiest way to use them is in smoothies. Not everybody uses smoothies. So therefore, I was using smoothies at the time. Right now, I'm not into smoothies much, so I pour them on everything. I use them in my sauteed vegetables, on my eggs, potatoes, and I'll use a couple other things that I've been using them for. So you can use them in everything. And the more you use, if you can tolerate the spices, build it up a little bit, like a half a teaspoon in a smoothie to a 1 teaspoon, just in case there's anything that, you might feel affects you and you don't get you all at one time. So I learned to put them in smoothie spices, and that's how I package them by a blend where you can use what you need. And capsules are another ball game. I wish I could get them into capsules someday, because people say that they'll take them if they can get them in capsules, but I'm not, it's like I don't cook or I don't do this. Question?
So I want to, because before I get into how I've been using them and where I've been putting them in, I want to know, because you talked about the fear of getting sick. Were there health issues in your past that you wanted to tackle yourself?
Oh, well, no, not yes and no. Yes and no. My father died from a peptic ulcer. He was afraid that he didn't go to the hospital because he afraid he had cancer. And this was back in 1958. So, and it was a whole thing. He died in front of me, and I was devastated as a 14-year-old. So I carried that fear with me until I was in my 30s. I thought I was going to die young. Okay. And then I was able to break through with a big revelation on that. That's another story. And so on through the years, as that revelation happened, I said, I don't want to get sick. So I started paying more attention to taking care of how I won't get sick. Now, these spices are not to fix you. They will help you, but they're mostly preventative. I feel they're more preventative to not getting sick than they are, well, I've got this huge problem and I'm going to take all these spices and it will fix me. So if that would be up to you, if it works for you, that's wonderful. It helps swelling, it helps inflammation, it helps your brain fog. There's a lot of things that these spices really benefit your body, but it's an individual chemical reaction depending on what is going on in your body. They react a little differently to everybody, because some people don't need it for inflammation, but they need it for their brain. So anyway, that's it's not a fear of getting sick. It's just common sense to me tells me if I'm 85 years old and I can't get around and I can't think, I haven't done the best I could.
Gotcha. All right, for
So,
everybody watching and listening, this is Put Together Conversations, and my guest today is Fran Jessee. And now that we've been talking about the spices, we can use it as the spice lady, which is I'm going to talk a little bit of how I've been using these and how they work for me. But we do have a question on Facebook. It says, Sherry says she's all about natural blends. Is this okay to use for somebody who's on prescription medication?
I would say there shouldn't be any problem. They're a natural vitamin and mineral, but I am not going to medically say that. If there's anything in there that that person would be allergic to,
Allergic.
um, there, I people take it on medication all the time, but not being a doctor, that would be something for them to check out. What spices might interact with some prescriptions. I found that out reading a lot, so that's all I can say there is check it out first.
Now, I don't know if you mentioned it earlier, but this is not new for you. You've had this product for a while, correct?
5 years.
5 years? Okay. Uh, and I guess one of my curiosity too is you're 76, and this is just me being a devil's advocate right now. You're 76 years old. We're going through this pandemic. We're on lockdowns. People are not really doing well. Why try to launch a business now?
Okay. When I developed this product back in 14 and 15, I didn't have a lot of marketing skills. And I had a couple of partners. I know my stories may be long, but I had a couple of partners come on board and neither one of them fit. I'm not a marketer. I'm a developer and I'm an entrepreneur and I'm an entrepreneurial starter. So I can get these ideas up there. And then I get, okay, oh my God, now what do I do with it? First of all, I don't have all this money to do all this marketing. So I needed to make a living and I went off and I built my Etsy site. So I've been working on Etsy for 4 or 5 years now with the dream of coming back to my spices someday. Along comes the pandemic. Now they're on Amazon. I sell them on Amazon. They've been on Amazon for 5 years. They're not found. Amazon is like, where are they? It's like anybody searching for these spices, don't look for smoothie spices. They don't look for PAL 54. And all the keywords still don't bring up my spices. It takes marketing. It takes time and energy and marketing. So I get orders, people buy them 3 and 4 times. It's been proven to me. And but it's not been a big push because I haven't pushed it. Along comes the pandemic when the immune system is more important than ever. And I heard the phrase by a surfer in Hawaii a few months ago, right after this, said, they asked him why he was doing this particular project now. And he says, if I keep this from the public and it's something that can benefit them, then I have no right to do that. And I kept thinking about the spices. And I said, if I'm holding this back and if this can benefit people, then I shouldn't be doing that. I should put it out there and do the best I can. So I have started writing a book. I'm about halfway through with it. It's how to boost your immune system with herbs and spices. I think I have the cover here and I can show you a picture of it. And that will be up, and that will be my basically a kind of a giveaway to help people to, if you want to mix your own spices, I'm going to put the blends in there. And if you want to mix them yourself, feel free to. I'm going to teach people how to do it. And then, but if they don't want to bother with it, and you have to, who wants to buy 20 spices, right? Or 34 or 54, if you can believe in the power of what's in there. Then you can purchase them from me. Okay. I will have them, actually, they're on sale. They're on sale for Amazon now, actually. And I have a website, longevityspiceblends.com. And I'm in the process, Daniel, of just getting it ramped up again. I've devised the Spice Lady is coming back alive. Back in 15 and 16, I did several Facebook Live Spice Ladies with my hat on and my apron and my big signs, and it's really goofy, but you got to be a little bit different in today's world. It's like out of the box, okay? And so I plan on continuing on with my Spice Lady theme Okay. And I'll be telling people, I'll be having videos of what garlic does for you and what this blend does for you, and a little bit more educational. And hopefully, it'll be educational and something free, that I can figure out what to send them technically. So
Now, one thing that I admire about you is, and again, with all due respect, but you're at an age where a lot of people are like, okay, I'm ready to just stop. I'm not going to do anything anymore. But it seems like you're like on the second wind, ready to just take over the world. Uh, Other than the spices, which I imagine gives you part of your energy, where does this drive come from?
um, a belief in something that I I'm not I am I'm a self-starter, and I lay in bed and I get these darned ideas, and I don't act on all of them anymore. I did act on several, and I get them to the point where I can't get them off the ground. I've got them in my pocket, so but what drives me? It's not money. It's not money, and it's not big success. It's loving what I do, and just having developed something that I developed. It's like there's nothing. I did this. Nothing out there like this, and God gave me a unique idea. Okay, so the more unique, I'm not one to take somebody else's item and make it my own and redo something. It's like if it's not from scratch, then it's not worth it to me to actually spend time trying to do it and build it. Although I have to do that a lot to make money, but it's not like my entrepreneurial idea, So I have a few others, like I said, in the background, and I don't know whether those will probably never get off the ground. They're as big as this one, and when it comes to production and marketing and making these items, things like that, nothing's easy. They're not these little gadgets that, oh my God, you sell 10 million of these little things, and they're so simple, and everybody wants one. It's not quite like that. I make them, my projects are always complicated. They're always difficult, and they're always, this blend will go, and I plan on doing, excuse me, I plan on doing individual blends for more direct health benefits. And but the way I want everybody to know, make a note here. The wording on the packaging cannot let you know what this does. FDA does not allow you to make any health claims on the packaging at all. So verbally, you can do your own research. I can say a little bit in my advertising, but so I think just basically people, if they understand what spices can do to their body and they get it, then they'll understand it. It takes really an open mind to that.
Well, I understood a little bit about it from when I went through my cancer treatment. Uh,
Mhm.
they because for anybody out there, first of all, for anybody who didn't know, I went through anal cancer back in 2015, and if you know anybody or you've been through it, you know that chemo completely destroys your taste buds all through the time you're going through the treatment, and then several months after. So I was first of all, I was encouraged to use some spices to boost my immune system, because also for those of you that don't know, I'm HIV positive, and I had to be off my medication to go on chemo. So I had to use natural things to boost my system. So it's a real balancing act. But as you can see, I'm okay. Well, as okay as I can be, but
Absolutely.
I'm okay. And so I knew about some spices, I knew about some blends, and there's some things that we tried when I was going through treatment, especially because it also helps your taste buds come back to life. So this is the one that I tried. I tried it the first day that I got it. I like fruits with chili powder and spices, and I had this really yummy apple in the refrigerator that was nice and cold, and I'm like, hmm, okay, Fran, Spice Lady, let's put you to the test. Let's see how it happens. So I cut up my apple, and I put a. I'll I'll admit though, I put a little too much, but it was still good. And it gave this apple, okay, first of all, for me, the aroma, I don't know if it's everybody's own scent, taste buds or smell buds, but to me, it smelled like curry and it was so delicious. So I ate my apple and I was like, this is kind of yummy. I'm like, okay, Spice Lady, test number one passed. So then the next day, I was making some chicken, and I'm like, I wonder. So I threw it in my chicken. So I take the chicken, and just for everybody, like I had a can of chicken from a food pantry that delivered food during the pandemic, and so I opened up the can, and if you ever had canned chicken, it has no flavor whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, right.
So I said, let me try this in there. And again, it just gave me this really delicious curry flavor. Uh, and of course, me being me, it had to be in a taco. One of the best tacos I've had in a long time. So it's not, I mean, I'm more of the, does it taste good? Like if it's good for me, okay, cool. But
Yeah.
I need taste.
Yeah.
So how did, how much research, how much work went into figuring this out?
Couple weeks, hours,
Really?
hours. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of, I have to go through each spice and determine whether it's going to benefit what I want to put in this blend. I had a lot of the research done. Well, for my first 34, it's hours and hours of just determining and reading and going from this to that to this to that, because there's a lot of information out there, and I wanted to compile the main things from all the information I learned. So I had to narrow it all down. Then I had to do a blend, which was a recipe. And so it is not just like even. There's certain, like you say, curry comes out for your taste buds first.
Yeah.
Somebody I talked to the other day said they tasted the cinnamon more. Okay, so I think it's a personal, I don't taste any of them because I am like, I taste the overall, but I do not taste a specific spice in there anymore at all, because my body is so acclimated to it. It's like that is my nutrition. That's my vitamins. That's all I take. I no other medication. That's another thing that I want to bring up here. I don't want to take medications, and I don't take them up to this point. I say, not saying never, but I believe this, one of the reasons is it's helped me not to need any meds for any reason. Okay, so that was really important to me, and that brings to mind your question earlier about why don't you want, what is it you're trying to not to get sick about? What drove you? I guess no meds. I don't want medication, because you know what? You start one medication, it goes to another medication, then you need 3 more medications. Then you got to test them, and that one doesn't feel right. And it just gets real complicated. And then you can't get off of them. And it does take its toll on your body. It may help you, but it shortens you. So, that was my personal reason.
Well, I made a bit surprised when you said weeks, because I would think that something like this would take longer to ground. But then again, I'm not that.
No,
I'm
well,
not
that
at
was
that
just
level
the
as you
blend. That was just the blend. I mean, determining the blend. Okay.
Gotcha.
And then compiling everything and ordering everything and doing all the labels and designing everything was like, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a quick one. So it's like I have access to do everything I do myself. I make my labels, I design them, I print them, I package them, I do all that. So I don't have to wait for a designer for 3 days or 5 weeks while they design something and I don't like it and we have to send it back. I got this behind me right here. This one, pardon me, this one, I had it done by Fiverr. And I wanted a Spice Lady logo in a caricature, which I can't do. So I thought, well, I'll send it to them. Well, I've had to redo the whole thing because they gave me this ugly face. Now, this one isn't beautiful yet, but I'm working on it. But the one they sent me,
See, folks, business does have a little bit of vanity in it there. So you have to just be, yeah, make me a cartoon, but make me a pretty cartoon, damn it.
yeah, exactly. It's ego, all right? vanity. So, but another thing I want to mention right there is that these new people coming on board to be all these entrepreneurs today, they don't have those skills. I have all the skills from all the industries I've been in for 50 years, and so I pull them all together. I've learned to do all this over the years, and that's where a lot of people have to hire all this out. And fortunately so that allowed me to get it up in a snap. I always said I could start a business in 5 minutes, so not to say that it was great and successful and done right, but you got all the elements to get it started, and then you work it. So anyway.
For everybody watching, you are watching Put It Together Conversations. I'm your host, Daniel G. Garza, and my guest today is Miss Fran Jessee, the Spice Lady, and we're talking about entrepreneurship. We're talking about Power 54 and the smoothie spices. Uh, if you're just now joining us, this is the one that I've been using, Power 54, and I've been adding it just to different foods, and I'm not sure yet what I'm supposed to be feeling. But then I've had health issues for a long time, and it's seasonal. One time something is a little off, and another time something is a little off. So I just have to. But I'm enjoying them. So for those of you, if you are interested in spices, if you've been wanting to try some special spice blend to boost your immune system or boost your body or your energy, or I know that there's some properties to help your skin, some things help your hair. If you're interested in it, we're going to put information so you guys can try it out and you can get connected with the Spice Lady for more information. Now, I don't want to get hung up on this, but I always find it because maybe it's because I'm about to turn 50 that I am like, okay, now I'm AARP there, like I am there. And I get amazed because I meet a lot of folks in the latter years who don't go after their dreams or don't shoot for their goals. Uh, what words of wisdom or what suggestions would you give somebody that's watching us that's maybe 50, 60, 70 and going, oh, I'm too old to do anything like that?
Well, if you think you're too old, you are.
You kind of read my mind there. Yeah, true, true.
And if you have a seed, it has to be it has to be watered, you know. You start someplace, and even necessarily if your first one doesn't work out, you just try and try again. It has a desire, not necessarily to be totally successful. It's not always about the money. So much on the internet now is like build your dreams and go to the beach. No, that's not the way I live my life for what I do. If I was to talk to somebody that wanted to do that and they wondered why what do they do to get started, I would narrow them down to what do you do well? What have you like? What are your passions? I mean, I'd have to go into what their personality is like and what kind of habits they have. Can they handle, can they really handle and want to take and put some commitment into their life, or and I mean, I'm not a coach, but I could be. I'm not a coach, but I know what I have to go through and what I have been through. So my take on that is desire. And you're not too old if you still can function. There was an 89-year-old lady that actually was walking with her cane. She had to use a cane. It was one of those big fat wooden ones. And she started to be different. She used to put flowers up and down it. And then she put flowers on it to match her outfits. And all her friends loved it so well. And then she built a business doing that. Okay, at 89 years old. And so that is like something will come out of the blue. Just start thinking about what you like to do and what you can do. Can you build something? Can you sew something? Can you color something? And I remember, I want to speak about the artist way. In the 90s, all the 30 years of my business life, I didn't think I was creative. And in the 90s, I joined a group through a church called the Artist Way Group. Now, many people might know about this. The book is still available on Amazon, and what it is a 12-step program for artists. And we met every day for 5 years. And I didn't think I was creative, but I was with this group, and we all learned to be creative together. And it's not whether somebody else likes what you do, it's whether you get joy out of what you're making. You know, you make something and you get joy out of that. So it may not be anything that anybody out there may like, but that doesn't mean that won't develop into something better and better and better. It takes practice. I don't know of anybody that's ever hit it out of the gate the first time out. You know, I don't know whether that's ever that is out there. Except for some lucky some technical guy that, you know, in today's world, but that's not, I don't know whether that's entrepreneurship. That's just,
but I agree with
business.
you. You have to start somewhere. It's interesting because Christian and I were just talking about some of my original video blogs that I would post, and it used to be called 1 Minute with Daniel, and I would do just 1 minute, basically what you're doing now on TikTok. Hey, I was the original TikTok. So back in 2009, I was doing 1 minute videos, just 1 minute rants about whatever I thought, and then I thought, no, that's not enough. So I went to 2 minutes, and then I went to 5 minutes, and then it became 5 minutes with Daniel, and then that became morning tea because I would do them in the morning while I was drinking my tea. I would chat with people, but this is before live, so I would record everything and post them online. Then my podcast started, and now 8 years later, here we are doing this. So, but I go back and look at some of my original stuff, and I cringe. I'm like, ooh, what was he thinking? But you're right. You just have to take that first step, and if you're liking it,
Mhm.
you don't need anybody critiquing you. You can figure out what needs to be fixed on your own.
Mhm. There is
Does
so
that make
much
sense?
information out there. I want to plug something that I've it's a person named Brian Kelly. He has a podcast for entrepreneurs, and it's called Mind Body Business. And I've known him for several years, and he recently asked me a question on Facebook, and it reintroduced me to him. So I went to his podcast, and it turns out that he was building towards the highest rated entrepreneurial podcast on Apple, and he just achieved that. So I listened to a couple of his podcasts, and I thought, oh my God, they're different topics, different entrepreneurs he's had come on, but they're all only successful. They're not like beginners, you know, and so forth, but amazing. So what I'm bringing that in for, if anybody's interested in entrepreneurship, he's a very good person to go listen to.
Gotcha. Now, for everybody watching, if you are watching this on the live stream right now and you have some questions about either the blend or entrepreneurship or how Fran got into her businesses, please feel free to ask the questions. You have to be in the video to ask the questions. Otherwise, I can't see them. But feel free to ask any questions or any comments. It's live. And then, of course, we'll have all the information for you guys so you can ask Fran afterwards if you want to get in touch with her. And again, this is Fran Jessee, the Spice Lady, and you are listening to Put It Together Podcast, Conversations with Daniel G. That's what's what's your goal in life, Fran?
Well, this has been on my mind for 5 years. And my goal is to really build a successful longevity spice blends company. And if I have to use the Spice Lady to get attention, I'm ready. You know, I wasn't ready back 4 years ago, although I've never given it up. So my goal in life is to, my kitty's going to jump down here. Excuse me. I have 3 of them, and I think he's waiting for dinner. But my goal, I couldn't live without him. My goal is to build this business, and it has been for 5 years. And I've known it in the back of my mind. And Um, I don't believe I'll ever stop working until I can't. I'll be doing something. It's not, as long as I can have these computer and all these tools and everything at my fingertips, and I can continue learning to keep my mind active. They say, well, play music to keep your brain active. Well, that's boring to me. Okay. It's not to somebody else. They'll play the guitar and they'll keep their mind active. Um, excuse me, he's going to jump in front of us. And so there's a lot of ways that seniors now have information on how to keep their brains active. Mine is to think of ideas and implement them and keep active in how to and the marketing aspect of it, because I'm challenged by business. That's all. I'm challenged by business.
So one question that I forgot to ask when we were talking about how I've been using it. How do you use your blends?
Okay. Okay. I use them in everything. 90% of everything. Okay. Like I said, I put them on my eggs. I even put them in my, I put on my cinnamon, my toast and honey. I put them on my potatoes, all my vegetables. I saute with them, and I have a really good soup recipe that I just wound up figuring out the other day. I used to make soup by putting 3 quarts of water in the pot and then putting the vegetables in and then putting all the stuff in and letting it simmer, right? Well, I went backwards the other night and I didn't have time for that. So I decided to saute them with olive oil and all my spices. I put a lot of spices in it. Anywhere from a tablespoon on. I'm a spice person. That's where I get the benefits from it. And I decided to go backwards and just saute them because I wanted them for dinner. And then I thought, oh, well, why don't I just pour the water in this? Okay. And then why don't I just add my little broth in that instead of doing it the opposite way? And because the juice of homemade soup is, I can drink it by itself. And so, so anyway, I went backwards. So that's making soups, making salads. You talked about putting it on your apple. I take olive oil, apple cider vinegar, maybe 1 to 3 or 1 to 2, depending on how tart you want it. Put a lot of my spices on, put it all over the fruit. I'll make a big bowl of fruit salad if I'm going someplace. And it brings out and enhances the fruit flavors. I use them in my smoothies. I use it, a teaspoon minimum. I don't usually go over a teaspoon, but if you're using smoothies and you try these, start out with 1/4 to 1/2, just to make sure you're not overdoing for your system. Oh my goodness, what else do I fix? I make turkey burgers and meatloafs, and I put it on my salmon, anything. And I want to mention one thing. The POW and the smoothie spices are different flavors. The smoothie spices is actually better for the fruit. It's got a little bit better punch to it. Okay. The POW spices are more mild. So the smoothie spices have more of a punch, but they don't change the flavor. I even use it in my eggplant, my spaghetti sauces, everything. I just put it in there. It's like, if it doesn't have a lot of my spices in it, then it's not healthy for me. I use them for health. That's my main reason for this, is not for all the flavor, but I understand there are people that will not eat something because they don't like the taste, and that's fine,
Yeah, well, I can assure you guys that the smell or the aroma that I got from this one did not match the taste. I was as I opened it, because even right now I was like, oh, I want some Indian food, because that's what I saw, curry, and I'm like, oh, I want some Indian food, and that's why I made the chicken, because I was like, oh, maybe it'll give me that little flavor, which then when I tasted it, I was like, huh, it doesn't taste that way. It just gives it a nice flavor. What I mean is, I thought it was going to be
it doesn't overpower.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be overpowering, and it wasn't. I was like, oh, this is really nice. So again, for most of you, if, Fran was kind enough to send me some so I could try them out before the show, and I did, and I was very impressed. Now, I don't know if this is okay, because I haven't tried it that much, so I'm not gonna. But I will say this: that I got them on a Monday, tried them for a couple of days. I did a no, I'm lying. I got them on a Wednesday, and then I thought of it on Thursday. Friday, I did my. For those of you that are not watching the Cardivo on Fridays, catch me Cardivo at 6 o'clock. People were commenting that I looked really good, so I'm like, okay. And then on Wednesday's show when we do Christian and Daniel, I got a couple of messages from friends of mine. They were like, "Hey, what's going on? You're looking really good," which I thought I was looking really tired, but apparently not. Um, I did have a little extra boost of energy going on. So I will like I'm gonna keep using them because if that's true, and I have to throw some disclaimers out there because for those of you that knew or did not know, my mother passed away recently, so that got me a little depressed and a little sad, and um, just things that are changing in my life got me a little under the weather. So I needed something to boost up my energy, but I hadn't tried anything other than this. And I'm not a workout. Please do not recommend me going for walks. Just the idea of going out and sweating, it gets me annoyed. So don't recommend walks. But this actually, like, it's pretty good. So like again, I'm gonna keep trying it. I'm gonna keep using it because I do like the way it tastes, and I like the way it makes my house smell when I used it. So I will keep you guys updated on where we go from here. Um, Also, I want to remind you guys, because we're down to the last 15 minutes. I want to remind you guys that I will put information on our mastermind group, the group where I haven't been for the last couple weeks because I've been really busy with the projects. But it's one of those groups where you just get a lot of information. There's
Mhm.
everybody's on the same mindset. Everybody wants their business to succeed, and we want other people to succeed. So it's really a give and take kind of group. So if you want information on a mastermind group, get in touch with me and I will give you some info.
Mhm.
And you'll see Fran there. You'll see Sherry, who was commenting on the show, Sue Brooke, Susan, everybody will be there. So
Mhm.
uh, I usually have some typical questions that I ask my guests, but I don't want to ask the typical stuff. I want to ask you something different. Um, it- when you were younger, is this was this something that you like? Were you always an entrepreneur? Were you always a fire starter?
Well, I remember when I was 11 or 12, they had back in those days, and it was like early 50s, right? Um, they had what they call a little mimeograph printing press. And it was like a toy basically, but it was not, but it really did print something. And I printed stuff on there. And I remember, and I went into the printing business. Okay. I took to it like a duck takes to water graphics. And my first job was, I went to work for a company in the advertising department. And that was when you used to cut and paste and use triangles and you use all kinds of tools, right? Well, I just loved it. I'd get up and go to work at 3 o'clock in the morning, okay, because I had children, because so I could be home, But I and I had my own business when I was 27. I started my own typesetting business because I just was it's like my thing. And that lasted 9 years. And then I went out into sales and marketing and promotional items. And so I learned all these skills all through the years and worked with major corporations. I've never worked with, like, I've had 2 jobs in my life other than sales. So, um, yes, in my young life, it led me the right direction. I could sense something printed, something, but I didn't know until I got to those places. It wasn't like I set out and I said, I'm going to do this. Like I'm a fireman, little boy thinks he's going to be a fireman. No, it wasn't quite like that. But I remember that was my guiding point. Mhm. Thank you.
Because I always feel like there's always something in our youth that kind of predicts where we're going in life. And um, I laugh now because I remember report cards coming home and saying, Daniel's a great student, does all his work, plays well with others, talks too much. And that was a constant all through grade school. My mom was like, you talk too much, it's going to get you in trouble one day. I'm like, ha, look at me now. this is what I'm doing, talking to people. So I feel like it was just from the moment we're young, there's something that just carries with us. And I'm so glad that you're doing this. Now, has there been one thing that has been constant throughout your life, uh, in your career or your personal?
My constancy is my friends. I have friends from high school that are my best friends today. They know nothing about business, and so I can't talk to them about any of this. That's why my Sue and all those girls and that whole team and everything is so important to me. And my kids. And then the fact that I'm a self-starter, and that I am, what's my word? My consistency is in that area. I'm trying to think of the right word, is being, um, it has to do, not integrity, it has to do with, I'll have to think of it,
Yeah.
Daniel. It's a matter of getting up and being there, and work ethic.
There you go.
There,
There
that's
you
my
go.
word, work ethic.
I probably don't have any of that, so that's why I didn't get the word.
Well, I'm a production person.
Yeah.
And you know, by the way, I want to say that when we talked that one time for that long afternoon, I felt so good about, you know, sharing back and forth with you, because you have a story that, you know, you don't have time to go into it now, but you have a story that is enlightening, and it is powerful, and it is inspirational. So I hope that everybody finds out who you really are, where you've been, and how you've overcome all your obstacles, because they're huge.
Thank
I
you.
mean, I haven't ever big overcome those. Mine, all my obstacles that I've overcome are just been financial. I'm always fighting the financial side, and that causes stress in life. And you know, if money, if you do have more, the more money you have, the easier life can be. But it doesn't answer all the problems. It doesn't make me happy, you know. So, but in your case, you have overcome some amazing personal health area. So I love you for that.
Thank you.
Well, it's true. So,
This
and
is
I
my
think
show, friend. Don't make me cry.
that's
How dare you? You'll never be back on my show
the
again.
point. I couldn't
Uh,
end without saying thank you to you too.
I appreciate it. You know, I the best I can say to that is that I am a reflection of the friends that I keep, and I say that all the time. And I am honored and grateful to consider you a friend. So thank you so much for sharing
I
that
think
and
so.
sharing from what you're doing.
Absolutely.
We, for those of you,
I love that. I
uh,
love it.
thank you. We
Yeah.
a lot of my guests get, for those of you that don't know, if you see everything in the back, if you're new to my show and new to me, I am also a Reiki master, spiritual coach, and card reader. So a lot of my guests who appreciate card readings uh, get a chance to sit with me on a one-on-one. My alter ego is the Card Devo, which is my show on Friday nights. So they get a Card Devo session with me, either before or after the interview. So if you come on the show and you want a reading, you will get one as well. This is my thank you to them. So we had a chance to sit down and share an afternoon of conversation, and it always ends up being way more beyond what we schedule. So that's what I love it, and that's why I love your story. And this is not the last time that I'll have Fran on the show, because there's so much more to her. Um, the last question we go, because we have about 8 minutes to go before the end of the show. Uh, the younger generation, we a lot of well, I really don't, because I appreciate the younger people, but there is always this, the the millennials and the older generations, and what are they doing, and yes, there's differences, but I think there's always, like you said, the work ethic, the responsibility, the fire. It doesn't matter what generation you're from, that's there. But what words of wisdom could you offer the younger generation that are trying to find new ways of succeeding in life?
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay. I ran across somebody recently in this last year. I love to find, you know, I'm always looking around. So this man started the original boutiques. And the reason I'm gonna have to tell a little story because it leads up to it, but he started the original boutiques, boutique hotels, and his name is Chip Conley, I think it is. And I can't remember the name of his hotels. A lot of those details always leave me, but the stories don't. So he built this successful, he sold it off to a larger chain, et cetera, et cetera. And then he went back to work, a young 23-year-old successful tech entrepreneur hired him. And what he realized was, and so he became what they call the elder, darn, he hired him. And the gist of the story is the 23-year-old is smart and has all this money and all these people working for him, but he doesn't have a vision for the company. Okay. And so bringing in this elder entrepreneur, okay, there's a word for it, elder something, and brought him in to teach him what the next stages of your business should be to grow. And so using mature people to be mentors or ask questions or watch what they do, not just your peers, not just your young people's, because everybody's talking and so fast and moving so fast and they're not, it's hard to listen, but paying attention to wisdom. And I have a Facebook site now that we've started, Facebook page. It's called 55 Plus Entrepreneurial Society. Okay. And there are plenty of 55 plus senior Facebook pages, but we're starting this one, and it's basically just to help elders. And I don't like the word elder, but unless it was used in the term of elder mentor, that was the word. Okay, I knew it came to me. So it always does after I start talking. So anyway, so the elder mentor for young people, and everybody's being taught a different way in school today. Okay, they're being taught different things than I learned when I was growing up. So technically they have got this world by the tail, where we've had to learn all this and scratch and learn, and still I'm not that savvy with a lot of this stuff, but anyway, the processes is what they should, the processes and any wisdom with golden nuggets they can take from just older people, I suppose.
Yeah. Pay attention, guys, because you got all the technology, and the older we get, we got the experience. So use us. So for everybody watching, we're coming to the show. I want to thank my guest, Fran Jessee, the Spice Lady, who brought us Pow 54 and Smoothie Spices. If you have not tried them, you should go check them out. They're on Amazon. We'll put the link on our page so you can check them out. Again, I'm just now starting to see I'm seeing some benefits, and I'll keep reporting on how I feel and what's going on. But if you know about spices and you've been using them, go check these out and see what you think. Let Brand know what you think of the product. If you want information on the mastermind group, let me know, or you can look it up online. It's Mastermind with Sue, correct? Is that the name of the Facebook?
Mastermindwithsue.com.
Yeah, so go check that out. You can find information there, or if you want to reach out to me, I will let you know. You can be my guest on one of the masterminds, so you can come and check out what it is. If you're starting your business, regarding what age you are, and you want information from other people that are out there trekking and doing the work, join us. I'm part of that group, and honestly, that's what's put Cardivo out there a little more. That's what's put my podcast out there a little more. I've learned a lot about people. And Tatiana is one of the ladies. I forgot her last name right now, but Tatiana helped me set up some information for me. Thank you, Fran, for hooking us up. We had a great conversation. Also, she was part of the Cardivo experience. So if you want a Cardivo experience too, come and join me. If you are into spirituality, Reiki, and card reading, get in touch with me for a session. I do one-on-ones. I want to remind you all about our shows. On Wednesday at 7:30, the Christian and Daniel show. On Fridays at 6 o'clock, the Card Devo. And on Saturdays at 5 o'clock, Put It Together Conversations podcast. So join us every week. And these are all live. So you can join us. And this is all part of Little Mexican Productions, Abnormal Entertainment, and H Rich Management, which is my management team. Also, RPM agency, who are my agents, if you want to get in touch with them. Fran, thank you so much for being on the show. I so
Oh,
appreciate you.
I am so blessed. I really am. And I just thank you. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Any last thoughts or comments before we go?
I just want to tell you thank you because I've had a really wonderful experience. I've been comfortable talking to you, and you've asked me some questions that made me think, and not just normal things. And I didn't get uncomfortable about talking about the product because sometimes I'll, don't remember every detail, and I didn't have to have anything in front of me. I guess I have a lot that I could have talked about. There's so much more. But we certainly got through a lot, and I hope your viewers enjoyed what we talked about today, because the actual reason for this is the most important, is for people's health. Okay. And it's not for everybody, but it is for a lot of people out there that don't even know it yet.
So if you have more questions for Fran about the product, she is tagged in this video. So make sure that you send her a message, get in touch with her, and ask her all the technical questions you want. She will be happy to answer for you guys. So for now, I want to thank everybody for joining us. This has been Little Mexican Productions and Abnormal Entertainment collaboration. Please join us next week. I'm going to have Alan Palmer on the show. If you are not familiar with him, Google him. I don't want to break the surprise, because if you know the name, you'll know who he is. So Alan Palmer will be my guest next week. And
All
we
right.
have more guests coming up after that. We already got some lineups. I'm really excited about some of my guests. So I hope that you will join us here every Saturday at 5 o'clock. Grab a cup of coffee, grab a cocktail, sit down, and enjoy the show. For now, I want to thank my guest, Fran Jessee. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say, everybody help Daniel get to the top Apple iTunes podcasts. Help him. Okay. And that by helping him, share his videos on the people, listen to his videos, go write reviews on his videos, just review. Okay. Even like, maybe you're not in love with our video today, but give Daniel a review. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you so much. Oh man,
Okay.
and Fran knows. She's so go listen to her, folks. For anybody listening, this is Daniel J. Garza saying, hey, put it together.
Adios.